So we went from Los Angeles to Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, and as decent as some of these shows were, giving us some of the greatest matches in history, a lot of these shows got overshadowed by NXT Brooklyn. SummerSlam 2015 was a long show. And I get it, they were trying to actually fit a lot of people in the card. And I actually appreciate that they were willing to put mid card feuds into the show and help develop more stars. Better than what they're doing now, with they're just cramming in 5 matches. So much so that they have to make SummerSlam now a 2 night event. Just because they are so focused on star ratings. And I'm just like, no, let's throw in some matches in there just to be bathroom breaks or filler. Sometimes short matches can be good. With that said, this show was not that great. It it was too long. A lot of stuff were booked really dumb, and a lot of the decisions really hurt the matches that we love. The two best matches on the show have a terrible finish, something that people keep forgetting. And then everything else was, like I said, filler. Sheamus and Randy Orton fight yet again at SummerSlam. Okay match. Sheamus gets the victory clean. Finally, they put a Money in a Bank winner looking strong. Um, this was just because they had nothing for the guys and they wanted to just put them together. So I'm like, so that it essentially that's what it was. Like I said, fine match, and they finally had a SummerSlam match with a clean finish at least. The primetime players defended the WWE Tag Team Championships against the Los Matadores, the Lucha Dragons, and the New Day. Um, so I remember watching this live. I remember the New Day mocking the song Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z. They cut that out completely, and then they just have the Lucha Dragons cut their promo midway. It was unfortunate. I really do wish that this was just New Day versus a tag team instead of just a Fatal 4-Way, but it made sense for them to, because they were still heels at this point. They actually snuck out a victory over a tag team, and then this led to the longest running tag team title run in WWE history until the Usos broke that record. So I was fine with this for what it gave us, but that, like I said, I kind of do wish that it was just New Day versus a tag team. Rusev and Dolph Ziggler had a match. This followed the breakup of Lana and Rusev, which ended up breaking kayfabe when Lana and Rusev got engaged in real life. This was a terrible storyline that just overran its course, and they were just milking it to death. I forgot Summer Rae was part of this as Rusev's new manager. She just did not work for that. She ended up managing Tyler Breeze. I don't know what happened to Fandango up to this point. They just buried that guy. I'm gonna be honest. I think Fandango should have been an IC champion at least. Even if he was like not the best in the ring, he could have at least been a good character to be holding that belt. But anyways, off with Fandango, Dolph Ziggler and Rusev. This was stupid. They didn't even know who to give the victory to, so they just ended it in a double counter. What I would have done, honestly, I would have Rusev and Lana have their feud. Dolph Ziggler representing Lana because that's the new boyfriend. But in reality, it was just a ruse for Dolph Ziggler to face Rusev, and then Rusev gets the victory because Lana betrayed him, and we can say like, oh, we needed to build that momentum back from Rusev after losing the U.S. belt, so why not get a former world champion to be fed to Rusev? That's what the story should have been, if I'm being honest. Celebrity match: Stephen Amell and Neville versus Stardust and King Barrett. Now, say what you will about Stardust, at least he gave us Stephen Amell. Um, Stephen Amell was really satisfied with the character of Stardust, aka Cody Rhodes. He even ended up in Arrow. I was a big Arrow fan, so I was actually kind of excited to see this. Even though I wasn't sure that Stephen Amell had it in him to be in the ring. Um, this is his weakest match ever. He had a much better match with Christopher Daniels at All In, the very first All In. That doesn't say that this was bad. It was just like it was Stephen Amell. He was starting off like not everybody can have a classic like Bad Bunny right off the bat. But Stephen Amell did his job. He did kind of come off as injured. He at least took a dive. But really, the one who carried this match was Neville. He did his absolute best, and then they never. He never amounted to anything outside of a cruiserweight, and I do kind of wish that they he didn't. I didn't see him as a world champion. He had the physique of a world champion, but he didn't have the size of a world champion. He definitely could have been a phenomenal U.S. champion. That would have been an amazing uh, storyline for him. But hey, it all worked out when he became Pac. Ryback, Rusev, and The Miz have a triple threat match for the IC belt. I forgot this match even happened. Even when I watched it live, I remembered watching the show and then I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Now, I want to remind everybody, I used to do wrestling reviews a long time ago, back in my days as the Double X Prince. You could see those old videos. I was 16. Even in that review, I remember like, oh yeah, I don't remember watching this match. I just remember reading the Wikipedia, which is what I'm doing right now. And yeah, I mean, this was not. There's nothing memorable about it. I mean, you read the names involved. I'm just like, this was a IC title match. Okay, but at least it did its job of giving you a break to go take a piss. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose defeated the Wyatt family, and I'm gonna level with you. I did not like this match. It was well wrestled, but the result pissed me off, especially given what happened at the following Raw. I remember it very, very well. It was so basically they do this exact same match on Raw the next night, and then Braun Strowman debuts, and then attacks Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Why wasn't that the result here? How much bigger would it have been if Braun Strowman debuted at a SummerSlam? People were like, "Who is this big man? Who is this?" Like, why didn't they do that? And then you also keep that momentum of the Wyatt family looking strong now with a brand new member. Instead, they just insisted on, oh, we have to give Roman and Dean the victory, even though it made no sense here. Even before we knew of a Braun Strowman as a kid, 16-year-old Alex would have been like, yeah, let's have the Wyatt family go over. He could have been Bray Wyatt could have been what the Undertaker was for WrestleMania. Like Bray Wyatt could have had an undefeated streak at SummerSlam. Could have kept his momentum going up to this point. He would have been 3-0. That could have been the SummerSlam streak that we followed through and through. Then we get the match of the night. What could have been one of the greatest matches of all time got screwed up at the finish. But anyways, the story was what really sold this. It was Seth Rollins, the top champion of the WWE, and then John Cena having the open challenges, basically carrying Raw, being the best part of Raw up to this point, even to the point where he had to close the show with Cesaro and Neville and Sami Zayn, all these classics. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins is being the coward chicken shit heel, and then he's ego's getting in the way. The authority is not believing in him no more. So then they put this match together. There was a part where Seth Rollins breaks John Cena's nose. They had a lot of good things going into this, and then it had a great match. I love the back and forth with these two. This is truly the match that made Seth Rollins into a megastar, and I love the callback where John Cena does the figure four, basically teasing that he will tie the Ric Flair record down the road. Seth Rollins showed his true potential. He really was the modern day Edge, if I'm being honest. But the finish ruined this for me, and that was of course Stephen Amell, and that was of course Jon Stewart coming out, comedian Jon Stewart, who earlier in the year had an argument with Seth Rollins, even to the point where they meet on live TV in the Daily Show, I think it was. But anyways, Jon Stewart attacks John Cena and cost John Cena the match. The reasoning was because he didn't want John Cena to break Ric Flair's record. And then it leads to Seth Rollins giving a pedigree to John Cena through on top of a chair. Seth Rollins takes advantage. 1, 2, 3. I desperately wish that Seth Rollins just won clean, fair and square. And if they were not gonna do that, they could have had someone interfere, and it could have been like a mass figure, a new member of the Authority, someone that we are gonna introduce. Maybe it could have been an NXT call up, something like that. But they just dropped the ball there. It was so dumb. Why was Jon Stewart involved with this? It's the second. Well, it's one of two horrible celebrity usages in a John Cena title match. This one, and of course, Travis Scott. We then have a three-team elimination match. Team PCB, which got changed from the Submission Sorority after that was X-rated brand. Team Bad and Team Bella. Um, and when Sasha and Bailey had that amazing match at NXT Takeover Brooklyn, we all expected something similar, and they did go 15 minutes, which would have been a good time, but they just saw the crowd just saw a really good match, so they were tired. And then up to this point, the show was already going to be like 3 hours, and then there was more matches to come. So it was just one thing after another, and it unfortunately hurt the girls. I really wish that it was just a women's or a divas title match. Instead, it could have been Charlotte versus Nikki. We would have been okay with it. Or hell, it could have just been Becky, Charlotte, Paige versus the Bellas and Alicia Fox, and we could have saved Sasha Banks' debut later on down the road. But yeah, this was a big problem with the Divas division. They just threw everybody together, and they just never really got anybody pushed. Like similar to what Syndrome says, if everybody is super, no one's super. And this was a testament of it. If everybody shines in this match, nobody shines. Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. This was a good match. This was actually really good, and I love the story of like Cesaro getting over. Kevin Owens talks about Cesaro's career, like everything that he tried to do in 5 years, he knocked that out in 3 months. So it was like I love the back and forth with the promos with these guys. This was really a testament to Cesaro's big push, stopping and going. Man, they just can't. Because Cesaro has given you classics. This was another one, and then they always drop the ball with him. But I understand because Kevin Owens was real hot, so I think they needed Kevin Owens to get the victory, especially after that takeover match at Brooklyn, the ladder match. He did have to sell an injury, or he was legit injured, but they managed to work with what they were given, and I was happy with this match. But your main event, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. This was a year and a half in the making. It was Undertaker getting his revenge after the streak was broken by Brock Lesnar, and holy crap, Undertaker definitely got it. I think personally, his Hell in a Cell, in the next coming months was Undertaker's last truly great match ever. Because everything else was either a squash match or a dud of a match because Undertaker just was older now. He just didn't have a lot left in the tank. But he definitely brought it in with Brock Lesnar. Literally, the match starts with Undertaker's entrance. Brock is already in the ring. They beat the crap out of each other. Bell hasn't even rung, but this was just a flat-out brawl. And sometimes you don't need rest holds and people being thrown. Sometimes you just need two people just beating the crap out of each other. It almost felt like a boxing match, essentially. Brock Lesnar hits 3 F5s and still couldn't put down The Undertaker, unlike WrestleMania 30. And again, really good match up until the finish. The finish was Brock Lesnar hits the Kimura lock on The Undertaker. Undertaker puts Brock Lesnar down. 1, 2, the bell rings. The referee, Charles Robinson's confused, like, I did not call for it. People are so confused as to why. Undertaker takes advantage, low blows Brock Lesnar, hits the Hell's Gate. Brock Lesnar gives the middle finger to The Undertaker. They blur it out on Netflix, and then Brock Lesnar passes out. I was so confused. Then they showed the replay, and apparently Undertaker tapped out. I was not high on this. If anything, what should have been the finish, if they were going to go this route, is have Undertaker put Brock Lesnar down as he's in the Kimura lock. 1, 2, 3, and then in the middle of it, Undertaker's tapping out. And then they could have been like an undecided vote, and then they run down the Hell in a Cell. That's what they should have done, not this confusing crap that took you out of the match. So the two best matches have two of the worst finishes ever, and it's why I'm giving this show a C, because the two best matches got ruined by their finishes. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention about Undertaker and Brock. I love the laughter where Brock is laughing and then Undertaker gets up and then he starts laughing crazy. That was awesome. But yeah, I just yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with this, and I definitely heard that NXT Takeover Brooklyn the previous night was an incredible show. But I mean, you know what? Maybe SummerSlam is just not meant to be 4 hours long, and this was proof of it. Sometimes you just need to narrow down the show to just a couple of matches and just limit the time and just have everybody just showcase what they can do with the time they're giving, or don't just throw a bunch of people in just for the sake of it. Again, you can enjoy Cena and Seth, and you can enjoy Undertaker and Brock, but those finishes really ruin this. Let's move on to 2016, see if that gets any better. It does have possibly one of, if not my favorite match of SummerSlam history, so let's take a look at 2016 when I get to it.